All right, y'all. I am super excited to be here with y'all today. I cannot wait to share this guest with y'all. This is my sister from another mother. Y'all, when I mean she dope, she dope. So y'all got to make sure that y'all follow her. But before I bring her to the stage, I want to share a little bit what she does. Okay. So Dr. Angela Mack, MD. Yeah, I had to put the respect on the name. I put the MD on it. The leading expert in women's wellness, a speaker of women's empowerment. She's also a women's empowerment coach, author. At this point, y'all, I don't even know how many books she done written, been in. She could share all that with y'all, but it's a lot of them. That's why I said I'm bringing a lot of experience to the stage. Live Great Lives, LLC, Women's Empowerment Coaching. Dr. Angela Harden-Mack is recognized as one of the most prominent voices in wellness and women's empowerment. She is a five-time. Well, no, it's actually she more than a five-time right now. I'm just saying. She more than five-time right now. But five-time number one best-selling author, global keynote speaker. She has been featured in major national television magazine outlets. Dr. Harden Mack has been featured as an obesity expert, in print and broadcast media. Appearances include, but not limited to, y'all, Ask the Expert on WXYZ, Detroit Channel 7 News, several appearances in Black Magazine column, Ask the Expert. Without further ado, drum roll, please. I'm about to bring my sister to the stage.
Hey, sis. Hey. I am super excited to be here with the seven-figure boss. I love it when you say that. Yes.
Girl, I said this is going to be good. I'm like, grab your bottle of water because you know you about to be giving the tea on everything. Yeah. So also I got to make sure these comments flow, y'all. Yeah. So tonight I just felt like this woman right here, y'all, in case y'all don't know, she exemplifies everything empowerment. I mean, she don't just talk it, she walk it. I met her a couple of years back, and she is definitely oozing a woman in Christ. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. That was how I met you. When you feel that day. And I was like, oh, okay. So I loved all of that about you, but I love how you want to help everybody. You want to help everybody. You always plugging in some form of connect. So I said, if nobody can't say anything else about you, they will definitely say that you are a woman that believe in empowering other women. You know, besides, making sure that waist looks slim, trim, Yeah. I was like, this is the perfect one. So I want to kick this off. Y'all, I got so many questions for her, so y'all got to bear with me. I'm getting through all these questions because I know y'all want the answer. All right. So, one, I want to know, how did you come up with your business? Because first of all, give us the breakdown. What is it that you actually do that we don't understand?
Yes, but thank you, sis. I'm so excited and honored to be here with you and your guests in your community to share and about wellness. I am a wellness expert, and I empower busy career women with the technique and specifically that self-care plan so that she can relieve stress and overload, so she can live her great life. Because stress is real. The struggle is real. The stress levels up here, it's like other stuff goes down there. So health and wellness and empowerment as well.
Amen. So how did you, because you're an MD, of course. and it wasn't like you woke up today and said, you know what, I'm going to go into coaching and empowering other women. How
Mhm.
did you come up with that?
Yeah. Well, a lot of what we do in medicine as a physician, I'm super excited. I've been doing this for more than 26 years and I love it. This is my dream career, 26 years to help people. And in healthcare, I am empowering people. Different way, I use different techniques many times in terms, but it's the same thing. And for years, a lot of my patients, and most of them have been women, would say, Doc, I want to feel better. I want to be healthier. I want to feel good in my own skin. I want to have confidence. So whether we were talking about, diabetes management, whether we were talking about reducing risk for heart disease, and as last 13 years, I've been a specialist in weight management, those same things came up. And sometimes part of our the wellness plan for them or healthcare plan dealt with how do you feel. I got into, I didn't call it mindset, but it was like, well, what are you thinking? And I would talk about the words, and I'm big on positive words. And so right there in that exam room, in that 15 minutes or that 30 minute encounter, I was able to help that woman to feel better. I always wanted my patients to leave feeling empowered. That was my thing. I was like, when you're in an exam room, we're going to celebrate, right? And I would say, when you come into this room, you can't say only, Doc, I only lost this amount of weight for just, I'm like, no, we celebrate. So I was able to take and to do even more. And a lot of people now, people of faith, they want to include their faith in that. And I couldn't always do that in, where I worked in the exam room, but now it's
Mm.
about the whole woman. Body,
I didn't
mind,
even
spirit,
think of that.
soul, and sometimes it's finances.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you just gave them this whole package. And as
Yes.
we know, if we don't walk away feeling empowered,
Yes.
it affects everything that is
Yes.
going on around us, whether we
Yes.
say it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It trickles
Mm-hmm.
where we have to come in and check you out because it does affect our health.
Yes.
It affects our relationships. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that a lot of times too, I'm just gonna put it out there. You know me by now, sis. You know I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna say it, okay?
Yes.
With women of color, it's always is that gap when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to empowering other sisters. And a lot of times I feel like we do,
Mm-hmm.
but people try to play us out like we don't. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like we do. So
Mm-hmm.
this is actually me leading me, and love you too, Miss Shay.
Yeah, I see that. Hey, yes.
All right, so this comes down to my next question. How
Mm-hmm.
do you empower yourself and the women around you?
That's a great question. I am, sometimes I get on, I'm like enthusiastic. People say, wow, I love your energy. I believe positivity is so key. And I grew up with that. My, family, my parents would say, the glass is half full, not half empty. Life
Come
knocks
on.
you down, get up, brush those knees off. If there's a storm, you dance in it. So being positive is so important. And that's my go-to. Yeah, I've had disappointments, I've had heartache, I've had frustrations, but we have to look at the other side. I'm not going through this, I'm growing through this. And
Come
this is
on.
not a stumbling block, it's a stepping stone. So positivity and hope, the expectation of good, that's all right there.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy because we were talking about this last week because I featured a new entrepreneur,
Okay.
Kendra Lawson. No, Kedra, because I gotta
Okay.
get it right.
Okay.
Kedra Lawson. I featured her last week. She's a new entrepreneur, and we talked about this.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
talked about, I was like, girl, just no matter what I was going through, I
Mm-hmm.
always found the positivity. And we even talked about when I lost my mother. I said,
Mm.
God was like, you know what? What do you want? Years of her suffering from cancer? Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know that it came faster than you wanted, but it was
Yes.
like, Father God, I thank you and I praise you that my
Yes.
mother didn't have to go through that. So I did find the positivity. And sometimes I think we get lost with finding that positivity because Satan to try to rob us from that. And that's for
Mm-hmm.
real. He will
Mm-hmm.
try to rob us. Girl, we
Mm-hmm.
got we got we got some activity today.
Yeah. Hey, hey. I
Yes,
see the
Yolanda,
ladies.
love
Yes.
you. She
Mm-hmm.
said, yes, positivity is
It's
key.
key.
So what do you wish? I love this question. I always all of y'all. Because if we could look back, what would be something that you would have said to your younger self?
Mhm. I would say that when I was in terms of finance, I'm really good. I didn't grow up with a lot, so we have very humble beginnings. We were on food stamps and everything, so I learned and manage my money, have my budget and everything. But I would say maybe there were a couple of years when I was conservative, when I could have been just a little loose. I would have my budget, I was putting money in retirement and all of those things, but I could have enjoyed a little bit more for me. All everything taken care of was like, Angela, you can just loosen up just a little bit,
So
and
we
enjoy it.
wasn't 10xing.
No, they're right. Well, wasn't 10x, but the other thing is because I was working my 3-5 year plan then, and I heard this statement: if you live right now like other people can't, then years down the road you will be. If you live like they won't, you'll be able to live like they
Come
can.
on.
And I listened to that. I was like, okay, let me stack my cheddar, right? Let me stack my coins now, so down the road I'll be able to live that. And I tell you, I'm like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
my mother used
stacking,
to always say, "You gonna pay now, suffer later."
yes,
And I said,
yes,
"Ooh,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
like so true." You
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm-hmm.
So, what makes you? Because I know that straight up,
Mm-hmm.
you a bad woman, and what makes you such a strong woman? Because I know that so many women like myself, we look up to you because you so amazing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Two things. One, without any doubt, and this is above and beyond everything, is my faith. The God that I serve is God Almighty, and it's in Him that I live, move, and I have my being. Everything that I am is due to Him and my purpose in life. And that next thing is love. My parents, when I tell you, like I said, we didn't have whole lot of stuff. We were poor. I was like, we couldn't even afford to OR sometimes.
Right.
We were like, oh, but I mean, family, I mean, love between my parents, between my siblings, extended family. What we didn't have in money, we had an abundance of love. And my parents, I didn't know honestly what disappointment was until I got to college. I always had somebody telling me, I love you, I'm proud of you. I didn't know that until I got to college. And I was like, what? So my faith and having a very loving and close family.
Amen. So I'm assuming that you were just grounded in the word.
As an adult, I didn't. We believed in Christ coming up, and my parents were baptized, but living that life that wasn't then. I have my aunt who was a woman of faith, but
Wow.
I accepted Christ as an adult, and I came in. It was like I tell people, I felt like it was a life preserver. Like I'm drowning. I need this. So I came in and I approached my faith like I approach schoolwork. Right. I've always been a good student, so I was like, okay, I don't know, and what's more, I'm an adult, so I need to learn this quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I just
Mhm.
went into it. My aunt told me two things that were so important. And I would say this to people if you hadn't heard that. She said, go to Sunday school. She said, I know you're an adult. I was like 22 years old. She said, I know you're not going to see a lot of people there, but go to Sunday school and go to Bible study because those are the places you learn. Sunday is for worship. You will learn some stuff, but go to Bible study and go to Sunday school. And I'm so glad my aunt told me that because it made all the
Wow.
difference.
And I said it's crazy because when you think about it, in his word, Philippians 4:13 tells us through Christ we can do all
All
things,
things.
not some
Yeah.
of them, but all
All
things.
things. Yeah.
And it's like we get strength of a lion. We don't, well, we do know where it comes from,
Yes.
but just thinking about that strength that God gives us to get through things.
Mm-hmm.
But I have this question for you, and
Mm-hmm.
I know this is probably going to help out a lot of sisters. How can our queens empower and stand in solidarity with other women?
Oh, whew, that's so good. When we celebrate one another, when you're celebrating your sister, you don't have time to compete.
Woo!
When you're
Come on
celebrating her
now.
and you're lifting her up, again, you're not looking because when you're celebrating and that's your sister, then you share. You're not holding back. You're not scarcity. We all in this coaching realm, so we know the abundance mindset versus scarcity. But when that's your sister, you share. And I think that's easier for me because I have sisters. I have 3 sisters, and I have cousins. I have 3 more cousins I grew up with. And
Girl,
then
you
I'm in a
see how
sorority.
we be like, every
Yep.
time we learn something, we
Yep.
passing it amongst each other.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
So
call
you
Abe and I text and say, "Hey, have you heard about this?" Or call the other one because she's my sister. She's
right.
my sister, and like, okay, she may say, "Sis, check this out for me." Okay, did you do this? So when my sis wins, I win. When I
Amen.
win,
Come on
she
now.
wins, and
Come
she's in
on.
my corner celebrating. So it's time out for competition. You compete with your opponent, not
Oh,
your team
come
member.
on. Come
So
on.
you gotta celebrate. You gotta celebrate. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
She said
Mm-hmm.
that for the ones in the back that ain't making sense. You know what I'm saying? We need for y'all to listen to that one
Yeah.
because collaboration, it does trump competition.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
want to share this example because I think this will really tune it in. And I tell you, she's just like there. You all heard that I'm a physician, one of the most intense professions there is, right? There are others, law enforcement, some other
right.
things, you're in military. And so women make up a small percentage, and women of color, even,
I was about
smaller
to say,
percentage.
come on now,
So
women.
many times I'm the only female on the team. Many times I'm the only person of color. But there are times when it's like the grind was so intense and so hard. It was like, I'm just ready for this to be over with. And we had big sisters in the program who were a couple of years ahead of us. And one of my mentors, one of my good friends, I was just like, I think my last year, I was like, man, I'm just ready to be done. I've been, in here doing my thing. And I was like, and we would often call each other. And I was like, hey, you know what? I want to, run this by you, such and such, such. I was like, I'm just ready. She said, what time are you going to be at the hospital? She said, I'm going to come. She was there, maybe at the hospital. I had to be there on a Sunday, like 6:30. She was there when I got there on the floor. She said, I'm here. She said, I'm just here. I went around, saw my patients. She said, what do you need me to do? I said, nothing. The fact that she was there, sometimes in church, we call that the ministry of presence. My sister, again, she didn't have to be there. She was several years ahead. She was already an attending. She was there with me if I needed her. She was like, you just needed my presence. Well, after we finished, she's like, you good? She was like, Harden-Mack, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. She was like, okay. Page me, right? We have pages. She said, page me if you need me. My sister was there. My sister came out. I just needed her in that space with me. I needed that face that if I, needed to deal with something, I could look at my sister. And if I needed a pair of hands, because she's a physician, right? She was my senior, she would have been there. So when I say, when you got your sisters in your back, whether they're your blood sisters, your church sisters, sometimes we need that ministry of presence, somebody to be there with you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, girl. She like absolutely winning team.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you most passionate about? What gives you joy? I already know one of them.
I say, wow, my family. I mean, outside of family, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy helping people, and sometimes I get teary-eyed when I think about my career as a doctor. To see so many times in being in a room with people, it's like seeing this flower bloom. And when I have the privilege, and I believe it is a privilege to help my patient, and now it's my clients, right, my customers, to be empowered, to be encouraged, and feel as though I can do it, that's my privilege. So to see them like, wow, God, me, little girl Angela, you give me the opportunity to speak life to people. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. I said, it's amazing when God puts you in the position where it's like everybody that you come into contact with, because you're so blessed, they're gonna be blessed too.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, that is such a blessing.
Yeah.
So give us, wait a minute. So what was the biggest turning point in your career that caused you to say, you know what? I think I am going to do this coaching thing.
I think that I think the very first job we have, right? So we go through that process of interviewing. You put your resume in. For doctors, we call it CV. When you go there and you're hired the first time, it's like, wow, they want me, right? They want me. I'm a good fit for the team, and you're there and you're doing your thing, whatever your profession is. When you leave that first time, you are really questioning. I think I question, am I good enough for this next space? Will they see in me what I bring to, right, the value, right? I guess I was like 3 or 4 years into my career. So leaving that job, that very first job that I loved and liked a lot, to go, that was something where I really needed to step into my confidence. When I did, and I was able to say, I know what I'm worth, and to be able to market myself, then I knew I had the confidence. So for that, and when I got to the point and I said, I want to do more and I want to coach women again in a different way, because it's coaching with my patients. I said, but I want this to be more, because that's the message I heard. And now I can bring more of the confidence building and more discussion about leadership and more of the discussion about authenticity with that. So that very first time I left, my confidence in me and my value, now I'm able to share that with women so that they can build their confidence as well.
Amen. I love it. So, I hear so many lovely stories about you as a child, and I love them. So, I want to know, what is your fondest memory as a child and why?
I think one was in second grade. Miss Deirdre Gamby, beautiful dark skinned sister, had all this head full of hair, right? And I went into her in second grade to her desk and I said, Miss Gamby, I'm going to college. And she said, yes, you are. Good job, Angela Harden. I said, yes. My mom and daddy said I could go to college. And she said, okay. So never wavered. Went to college and did
Wow.
my thing.
Wow. Do she know that she made an impact?
She probably did, because I grew up in the same community and lived there until I went away to college. And she was there within the school district, and I was one of those good students. So they tended to keep, an eye out for the students. So I think that while she was there, she knew that I did well. I don't think she was still in the district when I graduated, but she probably kept track of me through junior high. Mm-hmm.
Love it. So I may know one of your books,
Okay.
but what was the three latest books that you read, and why did you read them? Share them with the audience. Why did you pick up those three different books?
Okay, so yep. So one was Think and Grow Rich, the Black Choice, which we still going to
We
do
love,
our
we
discussion.
still
Yes,
on it.
yeah. So that is wonderful, and I like that, because for those of you who have read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and if you read it, I hope you haven't read it just one time. I hope that you go back to that multiple times and that you become familiar with some of his other works. So the Black Choice was commissioned by or endorsed by the Napoleon Hill Foundation. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, I believe is his name. And so when it was written, it addressed some very specific things to the Black community at that time. And it really inspires us, yes, that we can succeed. We can do some things. And so I picked it up in January and February for Black History Month. And so I read that, and it's one that I enjoy. And this particular copy that I had is from my father's library. So my dad passed away a couple of years ago. And so many people in my family were avid readers. I had my copy before, but then, we were going through his things and I saw this copy and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my dad's copy. And I actually saw his notes. I even have some of his handwritten notes in there. So that was great. So that's one book. Another book is Acres of Diamonds. If you haven't read that one, you gotta read it. And that one is what everybody who's in personal development, if you're in success, you gotta read it, because I'm not going to tell all of the thing, but basically it's like we are mining for diamonds. Don't overlook some stuff. If you overlook some things, you will miss it. But that is very important. And does it have to be like something about personal development, or can it be one of these like little romance books I like to read about?
Well, we got to get on the fun side too.
Okay.
That's just like the author I'm bringing next week is so funny. She's part of the AKA community, and I was in her book club. She's a client of mine.
Okay.
And she's so funny. She would tell me, Adrian, don't you come up in here with these self-help books. Like, girl, we like to have some fun.
I
So
know.
she wrote her own book, and I'll be featuring her next week as a new artist. But girl,
Okay.
it was so funny. She like, all right, enough of these self-help books. Let's get a good book, some romance, something. I'm like, okay.
Yes, yes. So I like paranormal romance. So it's interesting, and I like it because it's so literally it's so different. It's like when I'm working, I'm studying and preparing. I need something that's like Calgon, take me away. So I need something that's totally different.
Mm,
And romance, is always going to end on a good note. The guy's always going to get the girl. It's a predictable, plot. They meet, everything's good, then something happens, and they misunderstand each other. Then somebody comes in, wants to steal the girl, gets back. But I like them because I like to travel, so to speak, and I travel through the book. So I will, like, I picked up a lady who's like, oh my goodness, she writes in Europe. She writes about things taking place in Europe. Oh, this person is writing about, the Southwest United States. So I really like to find out and read the creativity in the author. So
nice.
paranormal romance, yeah.
Nice. So, uh, Geronda, thank you. Girl, she putting them all down for us.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the plug, sis.
Yes.
She said, girl, whoosh.
Mhm.
She said balance.
Yes.
So, like, what is next on your journey? Because I know you're always doing like 50 million things. So, what's hot and popping right now?
Yes, I'm so excited to tell you that in about 7, 8 weeks, my next focus is on self care. So, ladies, busy career women, it's going to be about from stress to sensational 7 steps, right?
Ooh,
Because stress is common for all of us, but you were not here to survive. You were here to thrive and be sensational. So, it's going to be 7 steps how you can be sensational. So that's my webinar. That's my program, and also a book. I'm writing a book too. It's like, oh
I
yeah,
love it. Yes.
yeah.
So,
Mhm.
what is like one really good takeaway that you would want for the audience to get from this episode?
I want you to, if you don't have a wellness plan, I want you to think about wellness even before you think about self care plan. I know we talk about that, but I want you to think wellness. And as I posted in one of my groups today, we have a business plan, right? You're here because you're watching a 7-figure boss. So I know you're about business. I know you're about success. You got your business plan. You got your financial plan. You got your standard operating procedures. You have a whole lot of things and systems in operation. Are you focusing on you? And I have this hat tonight because I want you to remind us. I know you got a lot of hats. I know we wear a lot of hats.
Come
But
on.
before we are an employee, before we are in the C suite, before we are a business owner, guess what? It's you incorporated. I'm Angela International. You have to get something for you. You got a life plan. So if you don't have a wellness plan, I encourage you to begin and add that to your lists of plans and your standard operating procedures, all of your systems, and start with, I would say, basics. What are you doing for your physical health? What are you doing for your mental health? What are you doing for your emotional health? For those who incorporate your faith, what are you doing for your spiritual well-being? And then finances, I like to focus on minimum of those 5 things: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and then financial, so you can build and nourish and nurture you.
I love that. I said, it reminded me of the other day when I was listening to Eric Thomas, and he was talking about how when he first came out as a speaker, he was just like, I cannot go in here and talk to these corporations. How am I going to talk to these corporations? They're not going to think that I sound smart enough, yada, yada, yada. He said, and then he realized he was talking to these big old CEOs, and he was just like, yeah, you a multi-million dollar company, but are you $1 million dad? Are you $1 million mom? You know what I'm saying? Are you $1 million boss? And I said, wow, that was so deep,
Yeah.
because we pour so much into, building our careers, taking care of our families. And a lot of times we're the last ones that are being poured into,
Mhm.
and like I like to tell my daughter, because she's a new mom, I'm like, you trying to pour from an empty cup is not happening.
Yep.
you know, and it's okay to be selfish because
Mm-hmm.
we are taught to not be selfish. I watched my mother do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, your favorite slogan, girl, my mother was straight up superwoman. So
Mm-hmm.
she thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for real, for
Mm-hmm.
real. But we're not taught that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I know this is kind of like, this is not even on here, but
Mm-hmm.
you brought it up, sis. You
Mm-hmm.
done lead it into it. So I'm about to go ahead and just run with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talk about that S on the chest.
Ooh, yeah. Now, notice, ladies and gentlemen, no S here today, but I
Come
tell
on.
you, I
Come
had
on.
an S on my chest, and many of us do. Now, my S was for Superwoman. Somebody else, it may be the S because imposter syndrome, it may be the S for other things. But I set expectations for me, and I felt like I had to do everything myself. And so I was stressed out. And so for busy career women, right, we're building us. We got three major crowns we're wearing: personal
Mm,
development, we're building our families, we're building our careers or our businesses. So we think we got to do everything ourselves. Some people are like, it's the perfectionism. Some people, it's the people pleasing. So I think part of mine was the people pleasing, and that led to that S. Superwoman is not real. That's a fictional character, cartoon character created by men in the 1940s with traits that are not possible. But we think that that is the model we have to have. Now, yeah, she looks good. She's sexy. Now, we like her outfit. And I was like, yeah. But the thing is, Superwoman will get us to success because we need that drive. We need that ambition, right? And we want to excel. But Superwoman can't keep you there. We have to have a different model that's healthier. So say, I had to take that S off my chest. My bestie was like, she said, what are you doing? Why are you walking around with that S on your chest? And we have to all, ask ourselves, are we trying to operate in Superwoman, your superpower? I took that S off. We have to let it go. And your superpower is not in being Superwoman. Your superpower is being super you because you're whole and authentic.
mm.
That's where your superpower will come from. Not Superwoman with a cape, an S, or tights, but when you're able to be authentic, when you're able to show up in all of your glory and all of your greatness, especially when you walk in a room, I say, you just be, you just exist. You ain't got to explain nothing to nobody. You
Come
just
on.
are there. You got to take that S off. She said,
Wow.
I come to my senses and on that S on the chest. Yeah.
It is crazy. We don't realize how we do it. And I find that, it's in all ethnicity groups,
Mm-hmm.
but I see it a lot in women of color.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, oh my goodness, sis, you dropped some gems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now I just want to know, how could we expand our network, amongst other women? How do we expand our network? How do we share our coaching programs? Um, how do people link up? What
Yeah.
would you suggest with this whole empowerment movement? How do we do this with our other sisters?
Yeah. So I like what you said, connect. And that's it right there. We have to connect. We have to be open. We got to be open to connect. We have to be approachable. And as we're going out, spreading the word, we will connect because somebody has been through what you've gone through. I'm 26 years plus in my career. So I did all the stuff in the beginning. I was the superwoman. I can tell you how, like, you ain't got to do it that way. I can tell you how to do it in a way that's healthier and get there faster. Sis, you were there in your, at the start of your business and you're helping people, do that. And it's like, hey, so we can help you get there faster. And it's important to be humble. It's important to say, you know what, I can get there. And so we make that connection and we're getting the word out. We're speaking, we're writing books, we are doing things to say, hey, I have the information that can help you get to where you want to be. If you're stressed, you don't have to be super stressed all the time. If there are things that are what we call we can minimize or you can reduce or actually get rid of, we're here to help. You're helping people with their business and branding. So make connections, be available. I tell you what I learned years ago: be trainable, teachable, and coachable.
Come on.
Because if you're going to go to your next level, wherever that level is, and go beyond that, Are you open for someone to share what they've done? So we got to be teachable, trainable, and coachable. So we connect on social media, we connect. And if you see something that we post or we're sharing, you see our videos, you don't have to, post on that thing. That's why we have DMs. Put in that DM and say, hey,
But it would be
I
nice.
like to.
Just saying. It would be nice to see some encouragement from your other sisters.
Yes.
Girl, let's face it. Let's face it. Honey, when we working those insights, we see who all looking at our posts.
Okay. I know.
Just, share a like.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you know other women that are in fields that you not working in,
yes,
share that sister's information.
Yeah.
Geronda, do you know Geronda?
Yep.
Girl,
from Mastermind.
She another one that I love. She doing her stuff.
I know.
You said right. Those eyeballs are looking.
I know. And you know what, sis, when you were mentioning about sharing, like you said, the post, when we're on there in a picture, and you mentioned that because somebody else was like, hey, I enjoyed that interview. Thank you so much that you did that. And, and you're great for that too. You are sharing, you are building up and putting information out there about that and responding on people's posts.
Yeah. And this, sisters. Oh, she said, I love y'all too. I said, and there's nothing wrong with us doing a like and a share. I always feel like what God has for me, He has for me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If my client gonna go to you, that means she wasn't meant to be with me or him, So, so leads me to this next question. So, what are some of your personal experiences or reasons that motivate you to think and care about other women so much?
I like to learn too. So again, when my sister is winning, when my sister is, especially somebody who is, like you have been a business owner for a number of years and in that capacity. So I learn from you. We're talking, we're sharing things. I learn from somebody who's in a different field. And so learning about your genius, learning about your greatness, learning about how, other women are showing up in the world. And I can learn and I'm listening. And because we all are working to empower individuals. So and I like what Cynthia said, synergy, right? So if we're here and we're doing that together, we are amplifying.
Okay to be able to sit at somebody else's feet.
Huh?
I said it's okay to be able to sit at somebody else's feet.
Yes.
Get rid of that big head syndrome.
Yes. Yeah. She said we're all on assignment. Yeah.
Every last one of us. So before we end this, I know, I had some hairstylists jump on here too. So I'm like, wow, that's the first. So I know this is really inspiring. But how can they learn more from you? Where can they follow you? Where can they connect with you? What do you got going on? Is it some masterminds? What's the dates? Give us that .com so we can send you a ton of digital currency.
All right. I like that. Digital currency. Yes. So my website for the company is www.livegreatlives.com. So that, has the blurb about who I am. That has information. There's a carousel middle of the page that will say coming soon or give information about what's there. And that's one of the key ways to know what we're doing in the community. I'm on Facebook as my name, Angela Harden-Mack, and also on LinkedIn. You can type in Angela Harden-Mack and that will come up. And I know most of y'all not on Twitter, but Twitter is coming around. I do some stuff. I know you're like, girl, you talking about Twitter's TikTok, but there's some real, real people on there. But let's just say Facebook and LinkedIn for now. My Instagram account was hacked. So that's why I'm like, why? Because I'm still trying to get my name back. That's what it is. I want my name back. That's the thing. So Facebook and Instagram. Stay tuned again for the program that's coming up, right? That webinar from stress to sensational, coming soon. As a matter of fact, in a couple of days, you'll see the announcement coming soon. I want you to know that you don't have to be stressed. And the stats are out. Recent survey last year, American Psychological Association, about 27% of adults say they're so stressed they can't even do stuff some days.
And you got the solution.
Yeah, so those are the ways to reach out. And not say I'm on my sisters, we tag each other in some things. So you probably will see me on the Seven Figure Boss line sometime. I'm speaking at her
wait a minute, we doing
up.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yep.
Got that coming.
Yep.
So y'all got to stay tuned for that, because that'll be coming soon. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. It was so exciting. We'll be right back. But it was so exciting to be here with Dr. Angela. Y'all know where y'all can find her. If you were excited about what was shared today, we just ask that you like, share, and subscribe to the Seven Figure Boss podcast. And just, leave us some, digital currency. Let us know what you would like to see more of. I thought today was phenomenal. It was dead set on. Y'all always go out and make $1 million choices. Have an amazing day and reserve your seat. Stop waiting until the last minute, because these prices is about to go up. Bye.